We have a guy, his name is Muhammad Iqbal. He keeps saying he want to talk to me. Let us see what he wants. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Muhammad, how are you?
Hello?
I hear you, Mr. Muhammad. Go ahead. You are live on air. What do you want to say?
Yeah. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now?
I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, CP. How are you?
I'm fine. Go ahead. What do you want to say to us?
You know, actually, I've been watching your videos for over 2 weeks. And I'm originally actually from Pakistan.
You're welcome. No problem.
And I never imagined the things I somehow accidentally I ended up watching videos from Sam Shamoun, then David.
My friend, go directly to the topic. I don't care you watch to who, Sam Shamoun. There's many, you know. But what do you want to say to me? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I would like to ask us a question. Actually,
what do you think about our topic? What do you think about what we show on the screen? As long you want to.
Yeah, I'm actually, you know, I'm baffled to learn those things. I never learned when being here because no one ever discussed me, and I'm shocking. I'm checking the references, all those things that I think that I've been deceived for years in my life, along with for all my life that I'm now checking the references. I'm going through that how I've been deceived when it's come to translation too. How the Muslims are translating now.
But you are a Muslim. But you are a Muslim.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I'm shocked those things that how this can be happen. That I thought maybe this is the truth. I'm following the Islam actually, and I never imagined.
You know, but I don't know. I remember like always you text in the chat saying you want to call me as if you are like challenging me or something. So I'm not sure like when this has changed on you, like when you start saying that there's somebody lying to you. Because as I remember, you were texting saying
I started watching a video about 2 weeks, and I can tell within a week actually figure it out. Somehow it changed my mind. In the first week, I thought I have to call you and I have to challenge you to, hey, no. You are wrong, actually, but now I'm checking the references, and I'm shocked. I'm going to all my alims and all the people who know the Quran, actually. And when I ask the question, they have no answer. They are fail to explain me that what's going on. And I'm glad that my kids are actually they are understandable. Actually, they are between 20 to 14 years old. And they are my wife. She can also understand English. And we are checking the reference. We're shocked to see how Muhammad used to beat his wife. And he has sex slaves. And all the worse that yesterday one of the Muslim call you and when you showed him about he can learn about nikah. Actually now my kids and my wife, they know actually what does actually nikah mean. Al-nikah. And we are shocked to learn those things that no one ever taught and no one want to discuss. And actually, because I was trying to call you about in the first week that to challenge you to correct you that I might know something. But now I realize within the next week that I don't know anything about Islam.
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's why I'm asking you, because you keep text saying like you want to challenge me. You are wrong. So now I'm surprised that you are saying the opposite. Because a week ago I see your text in the chat, and you were like challenging, and you're wrong. Call me if you can. Do you like whatever? So now you switch your mind and you find that this is true, right? We lost him. You know why we lost him? Because we didn't say inshallah before we call. Let's call him again. Yes, Muhammad.
Hello?
Yes, Muhammad. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I was just straight denial, whatever you were saying, actually. When I say, you know, this guy is talking exactly from the references. Why should I not just go and check the references?
Right.
And when I went there and checked the references, I was like baffled. I was shocked. Oh my God. No, why? I don't know why they never discuss this type of thing. Maybe the Muslims are ashamed. And within 2 weeks, I can tell my kids and my wife too. We are so glad that I found this channel and I was able to learn a lot of things. And now we are changing. We are trying to change that. I know at this position, we are from the country. Actually, we cannot discuss these things very openly. We can only raise a question, but we cannot criticize openly. And I would just say thank you so much for your effort that what you are doing, and we are able to learn a lot of things about
so, Muhammad,
Islam.
Did you decide? You said you and your family to leave Islam. Did you decide to leave Islam?
Oh, we already left actually. You know, we from the previous about 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we decided that we are following a false religion and a false prophet. The prophet who's just greedy about women, sex, money, and there's nothing actually to talk about when you talk about the Kaaba. And I'm shocked actually. I'm definitely, my wife and we 3 kids actually. So we are total 5. Now my brother is also watching your videos, but he doesn't speak English well. So I'm just trying to help him. But he's a hard-headed. But I always try to find some truth, and I'm glad I was able to find some truth. And it's really hard to because you know we were always brainwashed to the Muslim from the childhood that Jews are your enemy, they are worse, the Bible is changed, and that's true. We never find any verse in the Quran that says that equal to the Jesus verse says, love your enemy, pray for them. In the Quran, you can find this type of verse that the show a love affection for the others. Quran is not even close to those verses. We have a fabulous stories about Muhammad, which is a false prophet. I have to admit now at this moment, who's a false prophet that the old lady trashing, throwing the garbage on the prophet. He's passing the street. And about Bilal, he used to be abused by his honor, and but we don't know exactly the whole story about what happened with Bilal. I never learned from school actually when I was in school actually, but now I'm learning from you actually, and I was really shocked why I never learned from Muslims those things.
You see, Muhammad, I think you know I have a degree in Islamic law, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my degree never helped me to understand anything in this cult. Because in Islamic school, what they say to you? The Prophet is amazing. Islam is wonderful. That's it. So you learn nothing from Muslims because everybody's saying the same. Muhammad is the most amazing. Quran is perfect. So anything I learned, I did not learn because I graduated and I have a degree in Islamic law and I can be a judge in Islamic court, but because I work so hard, reading, studying, researching. This is my own work. This is not a teacher teaching me. So what we are doing here, we are showing people what actually happened, and took me a lot of study, a lot of work. As you see here, Bilal said to Abu Bakr, if you have bought me for yourself, keep me for yourself, but if you have bought me for the sake of Allah, let me go for the sake of Allah. Muhammad died and Bilal is still a slave. He never freed him. They give us speeches about Bilal, the first one who go for adhan. Do you know that Muhammad, he never called for adhan ever once? Never. Muhammad, the prophet of Allah, never said Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Never. Why? Why? Because this was the job of the slave. The white man Abu Bakr, the white one Umar, those Arab men, they are white. They are asleep and they are snoring, and the poor Bilal go to the top of the roof saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Muhammad never, and I change any Muslim to explain to me why Muhammad is a prophet of God, but yet he never called the call of God. Why he never go and do adhan? And I'm talking specifically about that.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing, and I'm really shocked. My wife, my kids, and that why he never called. Why he's any other ashabas? Why they never call for prayer early morning?
Bilal is, he ordered Bilal. Even the hadith says that Allah Prophet, he ordered Bilal to call for order. He did not say, Bilal, please go up to this roof. And Allah Prophet, he ordered Bilal. So Bilal is not given an honor to call for the adhan. He was ordered. As simple as that. My friend Muhammad, I'm really happy that's you and your family, and you said you are 5 of you. You left Islam, and a week ago you were like, you want to challenge me, you want to prove me wrong. But I'm really happy that you guys you left Islam. But what about Christianity?
We are reading actually Bible and trying to understand actually, and to be honest, before that we never thought about this way. But since now we know how bad teaching of Islam is, and I also last night I was watching Ayaan Hirsi Ali's conversations.
Who?
Ayaan Hirsi Ali.
Yeah, I don't know who is that. I'm not sure.
She's a I think Somalian Muslim convert. She's now atheist, and she talk about Ayaan Hirsi Ali. She talks about the mentality of the Islam from childhood to the death. Actually, the Islam focus only on the afterlife, but never focus on the real life, that you have to excel yourself here too, to adjust with your society. Islam never try to assimilate, and those things I never thought about before that. But now I would say, my whole family actually, we are out of Islam, because it's not the religion that we expect that. And the second thing, yesterday when you were talking with the brother, you showed about the privileges of Islam, Prophet actually.
Right.
So can you send me the Saudi Arabia link to my Skype actually, so I can go and check the 13 privileges of Prophet?
Yeah, okay, I will do that. The one if you like a woman, you have to take her.
Yes, and you can send me the privileges link too, so I can go and check, because I know I can read Arabic, but I cannot understand actually.
No problem.
And because my first language is Urdu, then my second language is English, and I know a little bit Arabic, but I can translate easily. That's not a problem. So I tried to talk with the Alam about those privileges, and he was, no, we don't want to talk with you. We don't want to talk with you about these things. And they're like running away. I say, I'm asking a question about Islam. It's written in the books, and you are straight denying what is the reason why you don't want to talk about those things.
Well, they are very embarrassing, and if they want to talk about it, it's I mean, this topic you should hide, otherwise people, they will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. You see, I'm not like, I say, like you as a Muslim, coming from a Muslim family, I always say to the Christians, love the Muslims, never hate them, because as you see, here we go, Mr. Muhammad, a week ago, he was angry from me, he want to prove me wrong, Christian Prince is wrong, maybe he's saying to himself, this guy is a liar, he is not being honest, etc. But then, things will change, because he saw that this is the truth, this is what's happening, this guy is not making things up. It's there, it's in front of me, and he is even showing the reference one by one in the screen. And then he went and he checked it out, and it turned to be true. So what we will do, the only way is either I go blind, I say I did not see nothing, I did not hear anything, and Muhammad is still a good guy for me, or I have to make a decision and I leave this cult. And here we go, glory to the Lord. We have Muhammad and his wife, 5 of them. I don't know, the rest are your kids, Muhammad? The rest of the 5?
Yeah, 14, 17 and 20.
That's wonderful. So you see, here we go. They are actually more lucky than you. They did not waste their time and their life when they get older, praying to the false god, right? So
yeah, I mean, my wife, she used to wear a veil actually, and now she's considering to take off so she can feel free herself actually.
You see, man, the veil, Muhammad, is not what make women decent. You know that, right? A woman, she can cheat on you if she wear a veil or not. Like, if actually the veil, by the way, can be a very great way to help somebody to cheat, because with my respect, your family, I'm not talking about your family, but my wife, if I'm married and she is wearing a veil, I can see her maybe walking with a guy going in his car. I will not even know that this is her, even there is 2 meters between me and her, correct?
Yes,
because she is wearing a burqa. I cannot see her, I cannot recognize her. So this is not the clothes will make a woman good or bad. Bad is bad and good is good. Everyone he do
I agree
what he believe.
I always say why taqiya exists. Even the Jesus say, I already know the verse of Jesus. Yes or no, because Christian in Pakistan, they don't swear. Right. They don't swear. They say yes or no.
Right.
And earlier you were talking about a jealousy. A lot of Christians, because they lose their jobs, lose their house because of the jealousy, because the next door neighbor is Muslim, and he accused him that he disrespect prophet, and they killed him, whole family killed him, whole village burned down, just for the one accused. It's not proven. It's not proven.
It's a way to take your neighbor down.
Now we're learning why blasphemy law exists, because Islam cannot stand criticism.
Exactly.
Islam cannot stand criticism because everything is written in Islamic books. And if you raise a question, I was really sad about, I think last year, a professor killed by his student. He was a professor at university. He was probably criticizing, not show the whole history, but the student who killed his professor, actually, he told the police actually that he was a disrespecting prophet. We don't know the whole history, but definitely maybe he was jealous of him and something that he cannot bear. And there's a lot of shit in Pakistan. People are very depressed over here, especially minorities. And child marriages are happening. I always wonder why child marriage is happening, why Muslims are killing Muslims, why Shias are killing Sunnis, why Sunnis are killing Shias. The reason, because the Prophet teaching to kill hypocrite, follow the higher number, and kill the apostate. I never imagined those things. I always say, oh, Muhammad, very good, but I can tell he was not good at all. When I check the references, what kind of prophet is this? All about sex, money.
Yeah.
But what we've been taught that he was prosecuted. But no, when I check the references through you and through David Wood, Sam Shmoon, Ayan Hirsi, that learn, oh my God, actually, it's the opposite.
Well, my friend, I'm very happy for you. I'm just opening the website
glad. Thank you so much for providing those references.
But my whole family, it's in Arabic. Right? Those references
we are studying the Bible, and my brother, his family is also watching your videos, checking the references. We never had Sahih Bukhari. We never had those ahadith in our house. And now we bought those books just to check the references to see that what we are missing about Islam.
All right. Well, I just sent you the link about Al-Qurtubi, and this is from the official government website of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This is the Ministry of Islam in Saudi Arabia, and you will see there. But as you know, this is in Arabic, so you have, I don't know if you know how to read Arabic, you have to use Google Translation in order to read it. All right.
Yeah, I can type too, Ed, because I know all the.
I just sent you the link, exactly the one I was showing to the Muslim who left Islam yesterday. I don't know if you were listening yesterday.
Yeah, I was listening. I was listening to him.
Yeah,
I know every Muslim can be shocked. Besides the ignorant people who are completely denial that. what prophet did.
Well, I'm glad that's people they want to challenge me, they want to prove me wrong, and they call me and then they leave us. Now what do you want more? I mean, this is wonderful. God is good, my friend, and the truth will set you free. You are not leaving because of a Christian prince. You are leaving because Islam is bad. As simple as that. Right?
Totally agree with you.
All right. Well,
if someone else had told me about Islam, I would have left maybe years ago. I've been deceived by this religion for years and years and years.
Well, deception is over, and now we have the truth, my friend. And that's why I'm here. I'm spending my time. You see, sitting here is not really. It doesn't make my day good, because I get angry, I get upset. I mean, people, they say stupid things sometimes. I mean, it's a headache. But my pleasure is to see people leaving this cult. And my pleasure became so beautiful, so nice. I forgot all the things I did when I see somebody accepting Christ as a savior. So I hope soon I will hear from you, Muhammad, you and your family, that you decide to accept Jesus as your Lord. And you feel free to call me if you decide to announce yourself to be as a Christian, or if you have a question about the Bible, I will be happy to help you if I can, as in the best I can.
I only have the problem with the Trinity, but I watched your video yesterday,
right.
And it little bit explained to me actually that how can I believe actually it's in the Quran. Trinity is in the Quran. You were just talking about actually.
Well, the Trinity in the Quran is about, like the Muslim, they say that how someone can be one and yet he's three, right? So the Quran, I use the verse from the Quran to explain how somebody can be three in the same time he is one. But the Quran always, Trinity is wrong. Everything in the Quran is wrong. But the Quran, one of its contradiction, it says that Trinity is wrong. Actually, in the same verse, Allah, he says the Trinity is wrong. It's the same verse, it says that there's a Trinity, because he in the same verse, chapter 4, verse 171, says that Jesus, the Messiah, he is a three in one. So how you say no Trinity, but yet in the same verse you say Jesus is a three in one, and the verse in the front of everybody, this is a Muslim translation, not my translation. Jesus in the Quran, chapter 4, verse 171, it says, hey Christians, don't commit executing religion. Here, say no Trinity. Don't say Trinity. There's no Trinity. But look what he said. Christ, Isa, the son of Mary, was a man. So he's a man. And he is the word of God. This is two. And he is spirit proceeding from him. Look how he is one, yet he's a three. He is the word. He is the man. He is the spirit. All of this is Jesus. Yet the Muslims, they want to debate us that it's impossible to be three in one.
I'm shocked when I read those references, and I remove those deceiving brackets from the translation.
Actually all the translation is deceiving anyway, but we use their deceiving translation to get them busted. Even with deceiving translation, we are winners.
Yeah, even I'm shocked, and like when you were saying yesterday, even if even the scholars are bragging about how good the Islam is trying to defend in their ahadith and tafsirs, what was in reality, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how this prophet, fake prophet, I have no shame to add, fake prophet was trying to what he did in the past, in the 7th century.
Yeah. Well,
and
Muhammad,
I also learn about because now I start to learn a history, hadith and tafsirs and your videos, David Wood videos, and Bill Warner's. Actually, I learned actually the Crusades. The Crusade happened because of Islam, not because of they were fighting with each other.
Muhammad, I'm really happy that you call me, but I hope that soon you will accept the Messiah, because let me tell you something. Today, me and you are going to sleep. There's no guarantee that either me or you will wake up in the morning. Nobody knows, right?
Yes.
And salvation is not something to joke around. As long as you made a decision that Islam is not, there's no salvation from this cult, there's only hell. And as long you said you start, you and your wife and your family reading the Bible, I pray that you will come to a conclusion, because I want you to be convinced. I want you to be a true believer. We don't believe in someone saying Shahada as Muslims. We don't believe in that. You have to believe in your heart in Christianity. So you have to believe in Christ from your heart. But I advise you not to waste time. Not to waste time. Do what you need to do. Study what you need to study. But you have to make decision, because time is not something we own. We don't own it. We are in a process machine. It's called time. Yesterday I was a kid. Today I'm a man. Tomorrow I will be old. The day after I'm dead. And maybe many of us, they die even in a very young age. Even some they die as a child age. So your soul will be taken from you, and you have to make a decision where you want to be and what you believe. Either you want to be an atheist who don't believe in any God, or you believe in God and you have to choose who is your God. And I think from what I heard from you, you still believe in God, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and Christ is a very possible like for you to believe in him, because obviously I think I cannot find better name than his name to follow or to accept. So you need to come to a conclusion. If you cannot say now, I accept the Messiah as Savior, I will be happy to hear from you soon. You and your family, you can call me, and if you have a question about the Bible, I will be happy to help you. But don't wait for long. Because
no, it's not gonna be.
Yeah, it's not.
If I can decide to leave this cult, I have to add this cult. Sorry, it's really hard to say this word. I have to leave this cult within 2 weeks, and we are just reading Bible, whole family, and trying to understand, and also checking the references. And I have to add also that Google, peace be upon him, I heard a lot of time from you, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. Google, peace be upon, is better than the Prophet of Islam, actually, who taught us nothing, but Google, peace be upon him, taught so many things that helped me out to find the truth, actually, that Islam is a completely, definitely a cult.
All right. Well, thank you, Muhammad, for calling. I'm happy that you left Islam, you and your family. 5 people left Islam today, as we heard, and that's wonderful. And I will be happy to hear from you again that you accepted Christ very soon.
Yeah,
Call me
will,
when you do.
if I need any question, any references, I can text you. Yeah, on Skype, right?
Yeah, I have. Yes, sure. You can call me. No problem. You can.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Muhammad. All right. God bless you and your family. All right. We pray that Muhammad and his family, 5 members, and I think he said there's one more. I think, I don't know, his dad, or he is in the house too. He don't speak English. He is explaining to him. So 5 of them, they left Islam already, and we pray that soon they will accept the Messiah as their Lord, as their Savior. To the Lord we pray. Please put this gentleman in your prayer, and let us hope that he will come to the Messiah.